Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Zen Lounge. In this video, it's an exciting time to be a part of the coreum ecosystem. If you watched my video last night, the first ever blue chip is now trading, the first token trading on cruise control, cat coin. This coin is absolutely exploding. It's up already, double. It's point one cat coin equals basically one fourth of a coreum. I made the call last night that we should probably see 1 to 1. One cat coin equals one coreum. I think they'll be basically valued the same very soon. But we'll have to see. That's not financial advice. Let's look at the dashboard real quick. So on the decks, there's now $185,000 of value locked into liquidity pools. Most of that value is in the Cat Corium pair right now. And there's been over 167,000 USD in trading volume in the last 24 hours. Has been $64,000 of value traded on the cruise control. So now on day two of this application, Corium is alive. The community is excited. Things are happening. And this, I believe, is just the beginning because there is more products, more applications. I think they're going to save the best for last. So we have Solo Techs launching on the Corium blockchain, just like Cruise Control, tokenizing the entire New York Stock Exchange and tokenizing these assets on chain. So, this is just the beginning, I believe, of a domino effect of what's happening. And now we're going to look into Sologenic as part of the Corium ecosystem as the asset tokenization gateway. But we're going to learn more about the charts, of what's happening with Sologenic. So we're going to take a little break from the memes right now to pay attention to. Do you want to share your screen? To pay attention to Sologenic and see where we are in the chart with the technical analysis master. BRW Solo. So I'm going to allow him to share his screen.
Cool, cool. All right.
Is it working on your end?
Yep. Let me see if you
It's
got it.
working
Let
on
me
my
know if
end.
you got it.
Yeah.
Good. Cool, cool. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man. So a lot's been going on, obviously, with that meme coin. That's pretty cool. Cruise control finally launching. So obviously, I just want to talk about the Corium and Sologenic, and then of course we want to talk about the entire market because a lot of people are freaking out. I kind of want to just give you an idea of what I'm seeing here and why I'm not worried. But I will tell you areas where I am concerned, but I also do want to get to a point later on where we're talking about some cool stuff where I think I found on Bitcoin in the whole market. But yeah, if we look at really quick here, Sologenic here, we got that on the left, Corium on the right. And I'm just drawing out here on the daily, right? We just found a simple pattern here. I have these lines. You have support and resistance right here. First and second is what I named them right here in a trend line. So what I'm saying here is, why are we crashing? Well, simply put, you can see this green line right over here. That is the 50 moving average. Could that be the bottom? I mean, it's possible. It's hard to tell exactly the bottom. I'm not worried per se, as long as we're above this. So you could even see it right here. There's that structure. This other one, if you match it with Solo and Corium together, Corium is a little bit of a laggard in that structural sense, but it's okay. And the other thing I got to say is, if you look at all the indicators here, Sologenic is cooling down. It's with XRP, it's moving with XRP, but Corium's been gaining dominance and strength. So there you go. I'm not worried about it. The sell-off is almost done. You can see that. I don't know the exact date, but it's close. If I do, let's go here. I want to get to the macro structures here because I really want to get a good idea why, give you a good idea why I'm not worried at all. But, and let me know if you have any questions on this, Zen, if you have, anything that's hard to read or whatever. I know there's a lot of lines and I just want to make it simple. And ideally, it's just looking at small little things, right? So I have everything set up. I know them to be accurate in my mind. So what's really good about this little correction that we're having here, since this is a monthly chart, Well, we got rejected at this 39 cents on the monthly. Does that mean anything? No, it just means that we're probably in that prime continuation move. If you look, I always talk about this Ganfan line, this 2-1 line that I'm tracing out right here. We're above it. We're above the 50-month moving average. And if we close August, which, look, we haven't actually touched that little moving average there yet, or maybe we just have actually. When I looked at it a couple hours ago, we didn't. But that may be the touch. That may be all we need for August to sell off and start moving, right? And you can even see that here, but they're both right at the 382, Sologenic and Coreum. Coreum's got momentum. It's above its moving average as well. This is the 21. And Sologenic's got more data, so it's both above both. So there's some exciting things about what I'm seeing here. I still am calling for a $2.50 solo here, probably this month. I mean, there's a reason why I believe that, and let me get to it here. I'm actually going to find move things around here. Actually, let's get to. I'm going to navigate first to this one here.
Want me to, I want to throw something at you real
Go
quick.
ahead.
Just some chit chat because what I've been kind of hearing is a bunch of people are like basically throwing in the towel saying like flipping bearish saying, "Oh, nothing's going to happen until next month." They're saying that like September 17th there'll be rate cuts and then they said, "Oh, then it'll be bullish." Have you heard people say
Right,
that?
right. Yeah, all the time.
So, but
So
if that was really going to happen, wouldn't the real market makers start like loading up before that event happens? Like, of course, retail is always wrong, right? What do you
yeah,
think about that?
retail reads it the opposite. Everybody reads it the opposite. So the Fed does not create the moves. They're not the market makers. What ends up happening is, and personally, it's my opinion, it's Wall Street maybe talking, and they're the ones in charge. That's speculation. That's conspiracy. But what I think is, what I always see is that, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. So we're not yet there. I thought there was a 50-50 in July because it was the end of the month. If it happens here very soon, well, that would make a lot of sense. And there's a reason why. I'll get to that in a minute, actually, because I'll show you a chart. But if the charts aren't ready to get into price discovery, and I have a post on this from months ago, if they're not ready to to break out of their all-time highs, and you usually use the index charts to see that, then why would the Fed do anything at this point? I think they're reacting based on the data and the charts themselves, and I'm sure they're looking at this just as well as any of us are. So I would expect them to move it when the charts are ready and primed to do so. So it usually works that way. Never does it like in the middle of a move as we're grinding up. It just doesn't make sense. But I'll try to explain a little bit more of that later. And then if there's anything else you got to add, just let me know. But one more thing on Solo and Coreum I forgot to add here. The reason why, again, things have been really good is we're still positive on the monthly on the momentum. This is your purple line here.
Nice, nice.
The green, your RSI. Well, we're just in that little corrective move here for Sologenic. Coreum hasn't done it yet. But I also like to go to the 3-week and the 2-week. Let me go to the 3-week actually first here for Solo and for Coreum. Coreum's about to pop up, right?
Ooh, that looks
Yeah.
good right
So
there.
it looks better here on this chart, but it's definitely about to pop. You have a cross,
Oh my
and
gosh, that looks beautiful right there.
exactly, especially since they're both right at that 382 line. So if you could see, I'm going to highlight it right there. If we're right there and you have
Holy
this
shit.
primed up, this closes in 22 hours. That's a 3-week candle. So every 3 weeks you get a print. So if this closes, imagine what the next 3-week candle will look like. It should be primed because I think
Oh my
August is a
God.
good month, especially since we're above all of these critical
Yeah, I
levels.
think August is gonna be a great month.
I think so too, for sure.
Gonna
So,
be
momentum, for sure. I'm excited for Corium for sure. I mean, Corium's been one I'm stacking on right now because the dominance is in its favor. Um, but yeah, I got to show you this chart. This is really cool. I'll try to make this quick. This is Bitcoin. And okay, I'm sure you can see that. I'm just moving the faces over. So what I have here is, not to make it all confusing, but the entire history of Bitcoin. And why this is important to me is I got to predict time, and I got to forecast time, and I got to forecast the price. So these are the two variables because I'm trying to say that, hey, I think that the end is closer than you think. So each orange line, you can even see them on the very top. You have the Genesis block, first halvening, second halvening, third halvening, fourth, and fifth. Those are those orange lines. They're each of those halvenings. Now, this is when Bitcoin came out, is if you can follow my cursor here. And I had to actually draw this out, but this is when it was traded internally. You had to mine for the Bitcoin, but the market started trading Bitcoin here. And that's important because when you calculate the days, I'll zoom into these two. We'll go by weeks. So 47 weeks, 52 weeks. That's your bull, and then you have your corrections, right? Those are in red. Cycle top, cycle top. So your average was 50 weeks. Let's fast forward the next two. You have 75, 78. Your average is 76. All right. Next one. Well, the question is, are we still going to go around that 76 average, which would be in October? Or do we extend, and I'm going just by adding an extra 26 weeks? So that would be about 102, which in my mind can make a lot of sense. And there's a reason why it's actually at the end of March. It would be the end of Q1. Potentially that would be the top. So I'm just saying, be aware that the top could be somewhere between October and end of March.
End of
So, and
March.
again,
So I'll be going in the 2026.
could be, yeah, yeah. So someone once told me, it was actually on Twitter or on X, but he says, yeah, this time the fools will sell early. And I was like, that's a really good point because that's how the market usually works. People have recency bias and they just sell too early because, they don't look at the whole pattern, right? We're using regression analysis here to really figure things out. But I want to do something interesting that I figured this out a while ago. So I'm going to take every bear market and I'm going to do a Fibonacci. And I'm going to show you something really cool. Let me just turn this to log. And I'm going to turn two indicators on. All right. Hopefully this isn't too messy, but what I'm doing is I'm measuring the first market. What does this tell me? We break the 618 right here. There's obviously turbulence. We break out, we get rejected at the 1618. There was a correction that happened here, but we ended exactly at the 2.272. So remember these two numbers. It's 1618, 2.272. That marked the top. Now I'm going to actually change it to the monthly. It's a little more cleaner. So pretty crazy. I got to use this market. All I had to do is Fibonacci. It reacted with the 1618, hit the 2.272, and then it came back to retest the 1618. So there's something I got to tell you about the 1618. It's really interesting because that actually is it tells me events happen. There's a shift in the market. If I do it for this bear market, to keep things simple, this was your largest candle that held support on the 1618. And guess what? Exact top. Now that was the closing top here. That was exactly, it's 14,000, but that's where it measured the top to be. So if you sold anywhere between 14,000 and 20,000, I mean, you could have used this same Fibonacci thing and you would have figured it out. And same thing on the way down, we have a little bit of, we play with this line of the 1618, come back to test that 2.272 again, come back down.
Damn.
Yeah, to touch. See, I mean, it's like one Fibonacci just predicted it all, you know? So now we got one more to do. So we have 2 for 2 on the same little Fibonacci trick.
So the
I'm going to do,
1618, you say?
yeah, 1618 is a reaction. 2.272 is usually a top. But Now, since these are actually, this is one market, so you could say this is two bear markets here. Technically, it's one, but on the chart you can say it's we've all experienced two bear markets. So in a way, it's true, but not according to the money flow side of things. So what's really interesting here is we're not done with this, and this is the same measurement from 2018. So you have rejection 702, 618. I mean, look how many candles are underneath the 618. Well, guess what? Here's now getting back to the news with the Fed. When you have this top here, this double top at the 1.618, this is when Coinbase launched their IPO, Elon Musk did his tweets. A lot of news happened here, right? But eventually, when we got up here over the 1618, we started holding this, right? This was in 2024. Look how many months, that's almost a year that we're holding the 1618. So, what do you think? If we're respecting all these lines perfectly, what do you think the top of this cycle should be? Well, according to this, should be about 204. Actually, you know what? Let me make sure I get the right adjustment here. That makes things even more better, actually, here. But the closing, we cannot close higher than 188,000. And there's a lot of reasons why 188,000 makes a lot of sense when you would do the calculations for dominance, for the calculations for the altcoins.
So you're
So
calling
this is pretty,
188,000 Bitcoin?
it can wick to 204. It can wick to
204?
it can wick to 222. I mean, I don't know. It can wick, but it will not close. And that's my opinion, of course. I would not bet that it's going to close above 188. But here's another thing. Keep this. We got those two cycle lines that I told you about the dates. That trend line is super important. I think everybody should write this or have this trend line, because when you break it, well, then that we're done. We're done with the trend. We're going to be consolidating for a while. So it matches pretty close to exactly where this trend would end, where we would top. So it would be March. So I'm betting on March right now. Let's see if that happens, because then we would have like till 2028 where we would just stay in this zone between, under 200,000. Hopefully that was not too much, but that was kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, that
Again,
was interesting.
make this really quick. Uh, this is just Bitcoin on the left, and then Bitcoin dominance here. We're trying to figure out, hey, does alt season start? That starts, true alt season starts when we break this line right here on the dominant side. But what I got to figure out was something cool here. Again, I'm going to use, wrong one. I'm going to use the same little Fibonacci trick that I always do. And I'm going to turn this into, let's turn that into the linear chart. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn on this 1618 and the 2618. So what's really interesting about the linear one, I use both log and linear. This is why we have trouble right now. It's because we hit this 1618 right now, and we tried to break out. But look, see that line right there? We're just retesting. So what we're seeing this month, again, is just, I'm proving that we're just retesting things. It's nothing to be worried about. We're above this yellow line. And at the same time we hit this 1618 is the same time you could see we hit that 702 trend. And again, that 702 trend, the way I do that, I just measure from here to there, and boom, you got it right there. 702, right? Right on the money. So we hit the 1618 here, we hit the 702, and I think this is it. Bitcoin's going to break 121, and then we start alt season. That's my trigger. So this is where there's a big gap here. You can see in dominance. I mean, Bitcoin should quickly get to 46%. Again, makes a lot of sense on the market cap side. And if we look at, there's a lot of charts here that I was trying to get through, but I guess I don't want to take too much of the time. Another one, I'll just get through this one really quick. This is just a metric, or how I calculated. You don't have to really, nobody has to know this stuff. It's all calculated, but the fib extensions all make sense when you are trying to calculate what is XRP going to be at and what does Solo have to be in order for the dominance to make sense. So we have XRP at $8.80, 250. Well, look at support resistance. That matches. We have another crazy big structural support and resistance area here. Well, XRP has to be $28 before Solo's 23. And then if we want to go one more further, you could see here and you could tag these numbers and say, hey, these are rational, targets. Structurally, they make sense. And also, this RSI has rotated very hard down. There's no more momentum. Everyone's rotating their XRP into Solo. It's a matter of, hey, does the Bitcoin dominance and the XRP dominance break down at the same time, which I think it's this month. That's
This
pretty exciting.
month.
I think it's this month. And
And this
additionally,
says Solo $2.50, XRP $8.80.
yeah, yeah. And I'll even share that with you and I'll post some of these here, whatever, and make it so that it's everybody understands this stuff, they can see it.
Dude, let's fucking go.
Yeah, it's
This is
exciting.
exciting
It's
time.
exciting for
The other
sure
day you
because
posted, we were talking, you're like, don't work too hard, 90 days till we retire. Then you
I
said,
mean, at that point, it'll be high enough to where I think some of us will.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, $2.50 will be,
and,
I'll be
and
happy. Just, damn.
here's another thing. I have Uniswap here. We know that Uniswap is similar to Sologenic because of its ecosystem. It's the same layer two. It's like say, a layer two, but for Ethereum. It's got a DEX, liquidity pools. Um, it
Yeah.
does a lot for Ethereum, and of course, Solo is going to do the same for XRP, and vice versa. But if we look at this structure here, just keeping it simple, this actually started at the same time. But look at XRP structure here. You have this move here with the SEC crash. You had accumulation, and then you had a breakout, and you break out of your all-time highs. Well, what do you think Uniswap could do? Same thing. I mean, it's respecting the Fibonacci. It's going to have this epic giant candle, should break the red line. And then look, if it hits $70, that's equivalent to Solo at $111, same market cap. So
Whoa.
I think Uniswap could do it. I don't see why it shouldn't. The target is there. It's a conservative target. And again, this is the structure that we're seeing with XRP. So I would expect a big giant candle to happen here. Really, this month, I'm really betting on this month. Plus, you have dominance on XRP side, which if you look right over here, this thing's about to shoot out because we're breaking out. This is the breakout. We're probably just retesting that line. And Ethereum, you don't just stop right here in the middle of a Fibonacci. It's not respecting any Fibonacci. So this is just a continuation move. We're going to go up. I'm still
Gonna go
thinking
up.
XRP is 12%, Ethereum 16% for now. And then maybe we might see the top, but we have a lot of indicators to look at the top here. And, so I mean, that's a lot of information I was sharing with you, but I'm more excited and not fearful like everybody else is, and I'll just let you
I
have
think my audience, this audience likes the deep technical, like, we like this stuff. So we want
Yeah, I
to,
do too. It gives me
like,
confidence.
so many videos are all just saying the same thing over and over again. This is like some real shit. So this gave me confidence that, cause I was looking at the market today, like, holy shit. Luckily, I was too busy with the whole Bobcat meme thing to even care or pay attention, but I flashed over like $2.77. Holy crap. And then, yeah, I'm excited that we got to sit down and talk about it and get people's some hopium.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been working hard on this. It took me a while. I'm glad that we did it now because I really got to learn a lot. Just because when you grind on them, you start to see patterns differently than
So
most
you're
people.
saying the chart looks perfectly primed for Corium just as the cruise control launches and all these people get interested
Yeah.
in Corium. It's like program, it's coded. And then I also seen some people and you yourself, Sologenic, you know, is a jewel. So don't, hold, all I want to say is from experience, hold your positions. Like don't chase these things back and forth because um, Sol's gonna pump very hard too. It looks primed as well. Like how long do you think we have for Sologenic?
If we're breaking this golden line over here, I mean, that tells me anytime, especially since we're above the 50 line on, I would say, every single time frame that's macro. Yeah, even and
The soul's gonna catch people off guards.
yeah, it definitely will. It's going to obviously move at the same momentum as XRP, but it is really interesting that it doesn't need to move that much. Like, you see over here 250, it's still less than $1 billion market cap.
Yeah,
Uh, and $23, which I have up here, that's 9 billion. And if
yeah.
we, and I know it's about 42 somewhere around there for this 111. But what's interesting is even that March, where I was saying is look at it, it's on the money. I mean, this is Fibonacci 101.
$107.
Yeah, that lined up perfectly because that's the GAN line, and then that's
So
the
everything just good to go then. There's no like red flags, anything like that.
no, no, no,
Nothing we
no.
should be
As a
scared of.
matter of fact, if the only one downside to all of this would be maybe we extended 4 months from what I thought, maybe it's not going to be
The only downside is it could take longer than we think, is what you're saying?
maybe like let's say if I thought October was the top, so you got to go in November, yeah, December, January, February, March, so maybe 4 or 5 months. I don't know. I
Yeah.
would say we've held on this long, might as well hold on for 5 more months past October.
Or just take small profits here and there, don't sell your whole bag. Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah, we're not really giving advice on how to trade your bags and stuff. That's your own shit. You gotta do your own strategy for that. We're just showing you some charts and everything. But dude, thank you so much for coming on. Do you think we covered it all? Do we need to go deeper into anything?
yeah. I mean, if I you
We could go
know
look into XRP a little bit.
yeah, we'll look at XRP. That there's that. I use that 2.272 again on the market cap side for the total market cap.
Okay.
So what I'm targeting is it's 7.35 trillion. So if you see 7.35 trillion in the market, that may be the time to sort of think about, hey, are we at the top? But yeah, let's go to
7.35 trillion total
yeah,
market cap. So that's like about almost double. Well,
yeah,
about
yeah.
double this.
Because it would be the 200,000
Yeah.
Bitcoin or so. But yeah, but the dominance is going down. But yeah, Bitcoin would lose its dominance, and then the entire altcoins would increase its dominance like crazy, and then that would be what are we at 4? I don't even know what we're at right now. Sorry, I didn't check. 3.61. Yeah, so we're at 3.61 now, and to top out at 7, I think that's a very realistic expectation. Especially with how alts always finish off. But the other thing is, if we look at, do you want to look at the XRP market cap or do you want to look at the price?
Let's just look at the price, I guess. That's the most exciting.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
You
sure.
said $8.80. Like, how do you see us getting there
Yeah, and
in the
actually,
time frame?
let me use this really quick and I'll get to that. So I'm just using the market cap to calculate it because I think it's at 7% inflation. And so when I adjust that stuff, I'm trying to calculate the price, the true price, because if you look here on the market cap side, you could see how well it's respecting these boxes that I've colored in here, right? It's in
Yeah.
it, then it's holding support, and then breaks out, and it literally just goes to the 786, and we've never like this is not a close above it. It's never had a full body close. So you've had a squeeze in that exact Fibonacci under 133 billion, and now we're breaking out. So the next target is your 520 billion, which is $8.80. But if you take that out to the price side, which right over here, it actually doesn't line up to be that same number. It's off by just a little bit. And I like to be exact, but you could, and I forgot how I did that. I think it was here. And let's see if I go to Fib log here. Oops, sorry. And then let me go to click that and that. So yeah, it actually takes you to the number at $8.29 on
$8.29.
this one. Um, but I just don't find it to be as accurate for me. I always like to use the market cap side. I know Bunny does the same thing, or it's easier to do things on the market cap side because it adjusts for inflation and all that stuff.
Right.
But it's pretty close. I mean, you're talking about $8, right? So it's about the same. And I mean, this chart, it's hard to tell. Like we're at our 1-to-1 ratio here on the fib. So the next target is really your $8, which again I expect Solo to hit $2.50. And we know how much rotation is coming because XRP is actually looking weaker. And we'll have to see what happens from there because it depends on when we get there.
Dude, I'm about to text my family group chat all like loves XRP, so I'm about to tell them,
Yeah.
hold on to your XRP. We're going to $8. Next XRP
But if
rally.
it does go to $8, then yeah, calculate the percentages because that's when I expect Solar to go to 250. So you just do your risk to reward management and just say, is $8.80 a better for me to hold that, or should I rotate now? As we're seeing here, that this trend line here, this rising wedge is about to end. I mean, we're already still under that. So, and you could see how it really likes to react because it knows this line is there. I mean, it never had a full body close here, never had a full body close here, right? Saved itself there. And then here, we just had this big wick, like XRP scared. But it knows it's gonna have to meet its demise here soon because that RSI double top, not only is the RSI going down and it's close to this 50 line, once that breaks, I mean, that's big numbers for Solo. But momentum now on the monthly is coming down when the market is moving up clearly. So a lot of other stuff on that, but there's a lot we talked about today.
Dude, yeah, it's a lot, man. And it's exciting. It's just shaking out the weekends and we're liquidating all those people that are going long and we're about to fucking send this shit. And
No, I know exactly.
yeah. So as soon as you start seeing people start panicking and start freaking out a little bit, that's the time to start doing your dollar cost averaging. Have you done any like dollar cost averaging or deployed any capital?
I've actually held from the very bottom. Well, because I got in at 18 cents. So I haven't even been buying. I've been rotating here and there. But I like to make my
So you already made your big move.
yeah, when it comes to
Yeah.
cash,
Right.
I like to just trade pairs at this point. I think it's easier, it's more fun too, and just
Yeah.
generate. That's why I think Bobcat would be really good. You know,
Dude, Bobcat, I'm telling you, man, that is the freaking pull up Bobcat real quick. Let's get into that before we end. Because it's actually almost at like 600,000 market cap right now.
yeah, yeah,
680,000 market cap.
yeah. If there was a chart for it, obviously it just came out. I would love to do it, but we just got to use
Yeah,
the
it's there's
economic
no
metrics.
yeah, the tokenomics metrics is what we're doing basically.
Yeah, that's a great way to start, especially if it's speculative. Uh, Launches like this on cruise control, which just launched, right? So,
I'm pulling up the launch pad right now. Dude, yeah, I've been having fun. That's why when I called you, I was like, dude, like I know memes aren't your thing, but this one is gonna be like a big community thing. Like,
oh, it will
yeah.
definitely be something I'd be interested in for sure.
And
Actually,
the tokenomics are so ridiculous, like only 10 million and you get in like
yeah.
under 10 cents. Are you serious?
And the fact it's
And
on
my
the
biggest
coreum
thing was
side.
like on Corium, it's like everyone's printing these staking reward. Let's turn this off. I could pull up my screen. Everyone's printing staking rewards, right? But no one really has anything to do with those staking rewards. And on the same time, would Gen Z people really care about buying tokenized stocks? A lot of them like memes a lot, right? But it is interesting that there is that stock option. So when Solotex launches, all these people come over from Solotex, come check out. Finally got my camera working. They're gonna look at the memes. This is the first ever memes, and all the people staking Corium could just and the validators also too could use their validator rewards, and they're just like it's like a store of value in a sense because there's only 10 million Corium inflating. So when people see that vision, I kind of wrote a whole thesis. People on my Twitter page could read about it, and the liquidity is
Yep.
ridiculous. So there's 164,000. You could actually see how much liquidity is in there.
Yeah, I did read your post. I'm about to retweet that
You can
here
see
soon.
the liquidity has 500,000 corium in the liquidity pool. So even if someone comes in with a big seller, tries to sell like 50,000 corium, like this shit can't even get rugged. Like in the last 24 hours, it's up crazy, and you can enter the liquidity pool for 540% APR, so you could earn. The cool thing about the function of the liquidity pool is if we put cat and corium into the liquidity pool and cat price keeps rising, it's going to automatically take profits, and you'll have more corium than when you enter it. So your corium will grow as cat goes up. So it's like an easy way to take profits into corium, and then you also earn 500% yield. And then when we talk about your chart, right? So I'm gonna talk about the fundamentals that support your chart. You're like corium's like right there, ready to go. What's gonna happen is you see that there's 500,000 corium locked, and this is just one token. Someone sees what I'm doing in Quorum or sees what these people are doing in Quorum. Fuck it, let's go launch our own token for our community. And there's another pool right here with another 500,000 Quorum locked. So it's like this app is like a deflationary act to Quorum supply by taking Quorum and locking it to the pool. We've never had that before, and that could cause that pop that you're talking about on your chart.
Mhm.
But we just got like nerdy again. We're supposed to be
No, that's
focused.
cool because it's everything's in one. It's like one store. I mean, you have the Corium world. Like even us as or validator runners.
The
We have
staking
that.
right here, you're staking, and what's going to change here to it'll tell you how much you're going to make a month and a year based on your stake. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because we have the memes. I mean, it's how is this not replacing Ethereum in a sense?
And the
And even
Pump.Fun,
Solana.
everyone's fed up with Pump.Fun too. So like this is like the new platform to do it,
Exactly.
and you can also
Exactly.
do real world assets. So there's going to be like gold and different types of assets possibly launching on this launch pad, and that will also lock Corium into the liquidity pool. So there's gonna be all these like Corium liquidity pools.
Yep. Yep.
And that's just so fucking bullish, man. And for your fans too, when you trade on this, and it's free to trade on Quorum, you earn the airdrop points. So Cruise Control is going to have an airdrop to their users. You could see that. I actually know this dude. He has 5,000 points that he accrued, and that's going to help him get a fat airdrop. So like we earn airdrops while you're trading these memes, and also, dude, for the whales. There's a Corium solo pair. Where is it? I don't even know if it's here yet. I think I've seen it earlier. But you could add liquidity for Corium and solo here too. But anyways, I know you gotta
Yeah.
go to dinner, man. So yeah,
No, yeah, I'm
Bobcat,
fumes right
solo.
now, but that was really fun. I'm glad we got that done because it helps me understand it even better when I explain it. But everything makes sense, so I wouldn't worry. I'm not worried. I mean, no, not financial advice clearly, but
Yeah,
if there's more that we need to worry about, we'll worry about it at certain targets. But we're still far away from that, so nothing to worry about.
cool, dude. We'll have a good dinner and enjoy your night. Happy
Appreciate you too, man.
Saturday.
Have a good one. Thank
Later.
you.